Welcome back to another episode of the Curiosity Corner. I'm your host, Dan Mitchin, and today we are joined by a very special guest from a new release film I'm sure you have heard of, Isobel Alton. Thank you for being here today, Isobel. Thank you for having me, Dan. It's an honour to be invited to speak to you and the listeners. Oh, you flatter me. Well, I see no reason to keep our listeners waiting when we already are so interested on the movie details. So, let us begin. Of course, practically everyone is watching, but I must know, who did you want to come and watch the film? Who is your target audience? Well, we thought about this quite a lot. We wanted our audience to really enjoy our film while still understand that we were touching on a very serious topic. Our target audience was preferably mature enough to understand the drug misuse storyline. Of course, our age rating is 15 plus, so really anyone 15 or older can watch it. However, on the contrary to my maturity point, I think 15-year-olds watching this is almost something I would, dare I say, encourage, even if they aren't mature enough to really understand the drug misuse, quite to the same level and impact as those who are more experienced in, life, I suppose. As Flatline carries such a real message of how important it is to really take care of yourself, because these things happen to people no matter where they come from or what they are like. But on a lighter note, I think young adults really enjoy this film, probably thanks to the fun party scenes and good soundtrack. The storyline follows the experience of family members. This really allows people to make a connection and an investment with the characters. I know I did. Wow, I really couldn't agree more. It's such a touching subject and such a moving piece of cinema. You must be so proud of it. Yeah, absolutely. I would be happy to admit it is my proudest work so far. And the response from the audience has just made it 10 times more enjoyable. Of course. And on the subject of that, how do you think you have either satisfied the audience or maybe challenged expectations for the film? Interesting. Well, I couldn't say we've only satisfied or only challenged expectations, as honestly, I think we did a pretty good job of incorporating both of these. When it came to narrative and genre, I think the audience was satisfied by the fun side of a hedonistic lifestyle. Unfortunately, drugs are so normalised in being related to having fun and average partying, and when it came to Julia's story, this side of the life was really exploited and emphasised, whereas Lara's story definitely does not follow this. Lara is a character that really intrigues audiences. She's complex and is an unexpected victim to a dangerous life. We also begin the movie right in the action, and immediately we have a connection with this girl in a hospital bed. Immediately we worry. It's human nature. Doing this gives Flatline an element that means people are intrigued, hooked even, on what will happen. Oh, 100%. I mean, I know I definitely was rooting for our main girl right from the first second. I think you've touched on it a bit, but I would love to know if you have anything more to say on the uniqueness of Flatline. What makes it, Flatline, if you understand. Yes. I think something certainly unique about our film is that things happen to characters that wouldn't stereotypically happen to a main character in other films. Now, I won't say much more than that, as I do not want to give any spoilers away. Our production team definitely works too hard for me to ruin our plot twist. But I will leave this with you. You'll be left in shock and tears. Wow, I mean, you really are just a walking promotion for the film. If there wasn't anticipation already, there sure would be now. But of course, there are many ways to go around distributing a film. Could you discuss what you have been considering? I'd love to know how and where I can get my hands on it. Absolutely. You are very correct with that. There are many ways to get a film out there, and it's something people don't realise quite how important and significant of a difference this can make to how your film does. So, of course, I think I can start with the obvious, which you have already pointed out, possibly without even realising. But I mean, as well as me being here, talking to you for our enjoyment, a hot topic of discussion is Flatline. And well, I must say, talk shows, breakfast shows, and podcasts just like this are definitely my favourite method of distribution. Not only does it mean I get to talk about something I'm passionate about with someone who is also passionate about it, but I also think it just allows everyone to hear about the film and the characters in a much more personal way. Other than that, there are the standard anticipation building methods, teasers, trailers, the incredible posters, which I mean, wow, maybe I'm biased, but they are just so creative, aren't they? Have you seen them, Dan? Oh yes, I have seen them, and I cannot agree more. The bar is just raised higher and higher, and somehow they exceed expectations every time. I mean, I must state the obvious. When you're working on an Islo Wizzle film, no expenses forgotten. Now, I'd actually like to hear more about the unconventional ways of distribution that Flatline will undergo. Oh yes, of course. Well, one way I'm very pleased about is actually us working closely with the Forward Trust organisation. This is an organisation that works with helping those who struggle with addiction. I mean, this is just so important to me. Part of our revenue we receive from Flatline will go directly to the organisation, and I hope we can have more fundraising opportunities to help even more charities in the future. But I mean, other than that, we'll be taking part in many social media events and movements helping to promote the film, including some of your listeners' personal favourites, I'm sure. So I hope everyone is not going to get sick of hearing all about Flatline because there is just so much more to come. One of my favourite things to do is meet with fans of our work, so hopefully everyone is excited about the meetups and live chats some of the cast and I will be taking part in, where you can hear even more about the film and ask anything you want to know. But please, do go on our website and look at the hashtag #FlatlineMovie, because that is where you'll find the link to the Forward Trust organisation. Oh, well, that is just so exciting. I know I will end up thinking of even more questions, I must know, so I might have to come and hear more about it. But thank you for your time, and on a final note, I just want to emphasise how important and helpful it is for the close work with the Forward Trust organisation. It's so refreshing to hear you putting your talents towards something that can really make a difference. But unfortunately, it seems like we've run out of time, so we must say our goodbyes, and I must let you go. Oh wow, how time flies. Well, again, thank you so much for inviting me here today. I hope you are just as excited for the release on March 19th as I am, and I hope to see some of you and the listeners at our live events. Buckle in for release dates soon. Oh, absolutely. Those tickets will sell out soon, so we all best be quick. Well, thanks to Isobel. That's all we have time for in today's episode of the Curiosity Corner podcast. Join us next time for more conversations about film and culture.